Alright, well, third luck's the charm. This is the Decompression Chamber episode 5. That was a bit awkward, but yeah, roll the intro. Kind of forgot.
Looks like into me, no doubt that I never be without my damn brain. Closed mouth, I'm clever and I know my damn shame. No cloud to the better, no one know my damn name. No bow, that's your what I guess we about to cascade.
We can just get cracking, Not that this is exactly a roller coaster ride, but I've got some stuff to discuss. I mean, we all do to a certain extent, but I'm here to discuss. Yeah, it's a Monday. I had my Monday morning meeting on my film course where they just kind of like brief us about what we're going to be doing. And yeah, they told us they don't really know at the moment, given that COVID restrictions are ramping up. We're all off campus right now, on holiday. Well, we were on holiday, but now because they've changed restrictions, they've had to extend the not being in Salisbury period for another 2 weeks. Yeah, I don't really know what that means for my studying in the direct, other than I need to actually do my assignments, and I'll hopefully let the teachers take care of the teaching. But it's a bit disconcerting in these uncertain times. I'd quite like to be at uni right now. I want to be in that creative environment where there's other people who are interested in film on my course, living with me, and I can, do these kind of creative ventures with them alongside me. Maybe have them like join in on an episode or something. But yeah, I mean, you just kind of, as is a running theme in these early videos so far, I just kind of have to accept things and try and make the best of it. I mean, here I am, hopefully not making too much noise in this beanbag. I feel kind of like I woke up on the wrong side of bed, but in reality that's just sleep deprivation. Yeah, I could just go to bed earlier, but I don't know, sometimes like I was feeling kind of anxious about this morning, so I tell myself the evening before before an event I'm anxious about, I kind of think, oh, if I just stay awake longer, that means there's less conscious, the time of the thing arriving is a bit pushed back in my mind somehow, even though in reality I'm just setting myself up for a bit more of a shitty experience, because sleep's important, and I slept like 7 hours, which is all right, but I definitely could have been getting more, given that my meeting was at like 10 a.m. But that's just me. I'm a Trident and net kind of guy. Like I was talking to my friend about gladiator stuff, and we were discussing about what the best weapon options to pick were, and I kind of at one point decided that if I was one, I'd pick a trident and a net. I got long limbs. I can stab from far away. Spin that net around, dash it on someone, trap them, and then stab them up real good. This is hypothetically, of course. And yeah, and then when the topic of gladiator fights came up within my friend group, one of, one of my other friends, who was not privy to the previous conversation, turns to me and says, "You kind of seem like the kind of guy who would have a trident and net in the gladiator battles," and that just made me so pleased. Like, even a small assertion like that, just seeing yourself a certain way and then having others see you that way is gratifying. It's like it kind of breaks that invisible barrier between your own brain and the brain of others. At least that's what it feels like for me. I don't know. It's something I've struggled with a lot, like with my throughout my adolescence and like young adulthood. It's like that comparison of what I see of myself and what I think others see of me. It really affects how I think about myself and how I think about what I'm doing. And it's not like you should never think about what others think of you, but sometimes it's not helpful and sometimes it is. And a lot of the time it's hard to figure out when it is helpful, But you just kind of got to trust yourself to a certain extent. I mean, all that like motivational, like, oh, you have to be true to yourself, like, to a certain extent it is true, but it's only true when you can get something out of it, in my opinion. Like, there's so many like quote unquote universal truths that aren't accessible to me because they don't affect my life. So it's like, okay, so it may be true, but is it true to me? You might call that a subjective truth or something, I don't know, but that's just where I am. I mean, yeah, in secondary school, I often kind of bounced between different friendship groups, and it took me a while to like fully settle into a group where I was like, yeah, these all of these people, I feel like I belong with them, collectively as part of the friendship group. And so when I did, like, I held on to that so tight, and I'm glad, because like I think now more than ever, I'm just grateful for the people in my life. Like, yeah, that's that's that point. I mean, I kind of ran to the end of my stream of thoughts, but yeah, there was something else I kind of wanted to expand upon or like discuss on this video. I have this kind of like chain of thinking or something, or some kind of process that I've been trying to use to change my life. Like, not in a major way, just like subtly. And not change my life necessarily as in like the moving pieces or like what's actually going on, but more like what's going on up here between the two ears or whatever. But if I'm to explain it simply, it goes like this. It goes, your perspective determines your attitude, and your attitude determines your experience. So if you're working backwards, like, often I think of this retrospectively. So I think about an experience I've had, and I think about how much that experience was affected by my attitude. So like, there's times where something wasn't that bad, but because I was really down in the dumps, I made it seem like the biggest thing ever. Or something that was decent, but because I was overeager and overexcited, I blew it out of proportion and got too emotionally invested, when in reality I should have kept myself in check a bit and put myself in a more realistic perspective, realistic attitude, I guess. And then, so for you to change the attitude, like going back, I feel like you need to change the perspective. Something that I feel very grateful for in terms of growing up in England, but also having seen like life in Spain, having family from Spain, and like having that cultural influence is, the difference in perspective shows you that while no perspective is like completely wrong, no perspective will ever be completely right. So for you to be able to like see everything, I feel like you need to look at it from a different perspective. I often think about the fact that sometimes it's not about changing the thing, it's about changing the way you look at the thing. And I guess that's what I mean about perspective. So if you change the perspective, like how you look at the thing, it might change the kind of attitude or the kind of like preconceived mood as you go into the experience. And then if you change the perspective to change your attitude, you might change the experience for the better. I mean, I don't know whether that makes sense, but that's some kind of prevailing philosophy, so I'm working on it, In any case, I've been going for like 8 minutes now, so this try went well. Yeah, I hope you have a good Monday. I hope you have a good week, in fact. Why not just make it the whole month? So have a good month, and I'll be back soon. Cheers.